Hey everyone, my name is Austin and welcome back to SOT Sports. We are officially on the road to WrestleMania 41 happening in Las Vegas in April. We are just over a month away from, I guess, the time I'm recording this. It's about a month and a week. All of the chaos is starting to kind of clear up, so I wanted to take a quick look at the WrestleMania 41 card, kind of see where we're at, where we're heading, how it's going to stack up in comparison to some of the recent WrestleManias, which I think have been very, very strong ever since WrestleMania 38 at this point. So I'm excited to take a look. I'm interested to hear what you guys think in the comments. Maybe you agree with some of the matches that I have thought up. Maybe you disagree, but definitely let me know down in the comments. For reference, I'm kind of working off the assumption of what they did last year, which was 14 total matches for the two-night WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. That 14 number does count the Damian Priest cash-in on Drew McIntyre, so that was really 13 announced matches. I'm operating under that same assumption for this video. I'll explain why I think it could be less this year, just with how things have gone over the last, 365 days at this point, but interested to see what you guys think. For the sake of this video, I broke things down into three tiers, I guess you could call them. The three would be the matches we already know, so those are confirmed by WWE, whether it's from Royal Rumbles or just already announced things. The matches we can assume at this point, so things that I would say are on the brink of being announced. It's just so obvious it hurts, not in any crazy bad way, but just very predictable. And then there are matches that could be added that I would say are more fringe. They could be happening on other shows or anything like that, but I'll get into more detail on that. So for the four matches at this point, as of March 12th, that we already know, we have Cody Rhodes versus John Cena, the heel John Cena for the undisputed WWE Championship. That will undoubtedly main event night 2 on that Sunday. We have Gunther versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. I would pretty safely assume that's going to main event night 1 on that Saturday with how they've been booking things. I would say Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair for the Women's WWE Championship is pretty set in stone. I don't see anyone getting added to that match. I think that's just going to go as is. Could be a very, very good match. And then last but certainly not least, we have Io Sky, my favorite, versus Bianca Belair for the Women's World Championship. That one, while announced, I think will change. I think it's pretty clear we're getting Rhea Ripley in that match in some capacity to make it a triple threat match with how they've been booking things on Raw. I think that could be a very strong match. I honestly, if it wasn't Jey Uso, would say that could easily be a women's main event on night 1, but I digress. Then we have, I would say, 4 matches at this point we can safely assume, where these are not fully announced, but again, in the next maybe week or two, they'll get announced. I would say we have Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus CM Punk in a triple threat match. I think it'll be pretty clear over the European tour that they have. It'll be some sort of Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins angle. And then I could see CM Punk kind of cashing in his favor with Paul Heyman to insert himself into that match, which is kind of, depending on how you look at it, a dumb way to use that favor, but for storyline purposes, it would make sense. We'll have Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. I would say it's just a matter of what the stipulation is, if there is one, if they just do old school wrestling match, or if it's more of a, street fight kind of flair for it. We'll have Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest. That one is, I think, since the Rumble, been pretty set in stone. There was all that drama around, LA Knight getting his stuff in, as he worded it, and pissing off Drew McIntyre in the process. But I think that Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest match is a fun one, especially when you factor in it'll be a little more than a year since Damian Priest cashed in on Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania 40. And then this one, I think I can safely assume, but you can never tell with how they book things, is Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. I thought if they were going to do it on Raw, they were going to really announce something during that Madison Square Garden show. I personally think that could easily be a Raw main event, but it seems like they're starting what could be a slow burn towards WrestleMania with how, they're slow rolling things. They had that Andrew Schultz segment at MSG. So I think that's your Logan Paul kind of whatever Ricochet style moment that he can go up against an athlete like AJ Styles. The matches that I think could be added, they're kind of all over the place. I think there's a random bunch that all sort of makes sense. Whether or not they're Mania worthy, time will tell. I think the caveat is that, they've been booking Raw with Seth Rollins versus CM Punk in the main event. They've been booking SmackDown with some heavy hitting matches that could easily be, Mania level matches, maybe as an undercard match. So it's kind of tough to tell, but we'll see how it all plays out in the next month. I would say topping that list is definitely Naomi versus Jade Cargill. That's one that I could definitely see just going on, even that Friday, that SmackDown right before Mania, if they weren't going to throw, Naomi and Jade Cargill on the Mania card. But I think they're going to want Jade Cargill especially on that card, and they're starting to ramp up that storyline. I think similar, like along those lines, that Solo Sikoa Jacob Fatu storyline is one that I would be fine if they just settle it on a SmackDown, but I think they're trying to get Jacob Fatu on WrestleMania. That would be your way to do it, if he turns on Solo. I don't see how you do that without Jacob Fatu going more in the babyface direction, which you're probably going to want him as a heel after WrestleMania, so I don't know what you do there without just a full-fledged babyface turn. I would say another interesting one is Chelsea Green versus Trish Stratus for the United States Championship. Kind of funny that it would be two Canadians at WrestleMania, but they've already planted the seeds for this. I think it could work well if Trish is around. I think it'd be a good novelty match, similar to the Austin Theory John Cena match from WrestleMania 39. I think it's a good way to kind of build up the title, get it on, a big show like WrestleMania without doing anything super crazy of a 6-person match. Then we get into some things that, same thing I think could happen, but you're going to start bogging down the WrestleMania card. I would be fine if they went with, the 2 top tiers that I laid out, the 4 confirmed and then 4 probably going to happen matches. I think these next few you could do, and you need to have these people on the show in some capacity. It's just a matter of how. I think very clearly is the tag team title match with probably some combination of DIY, Street Profits, Motor City Machine Guns. You can throw Pretty Deadly in there if you want, but I think they will probably try and avoid that fatal 4-way concept. I'm 80% sure off the top of my head they did a fatal 4-way tag team ladder match last year for both titles, so it'd be a little bit repetitive if they do that. But they do love throwing, whatever it is, 4 teams out there just to get them on there, and they're starting to tell a pretty good story with the SmackDown tag team division. Same type of thing with Braun Breaker. I could see him defending his title maybe against Sheamus or someone like that, just to get the Intercontinental title on the show. It was a big deal last year with Gunther and Sami Zayn, so I wouldn't see why they wouldn't want to do that again. And then along those lines, I can't envision a world where Judgment Day isn't on the show in some capacity, whether it's a Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio match, whether it's some sort of mixed tag with Liv and Dominic against someone. I really thought they would be going down the route of Dominic Mysterio versus Rey Mysterio and some sort of, mask versus hair match, but that does lead me into my final match on this list, which is the potentially newly masked Chad Gable, who knows, after Raw in Madison Square Garden, wrestling some sort of, obviously he's on this quest against luchadors. It's just a matter of, is he fighting someone like Penta, which would make the most sense, Rey Mysterio, some combination. I think it'd be funny if they did some sort of mask versus mask match where Chad Gable's American-made luchador, persona puts his mask on the line against a Rey Mysterio, or Penta loses, gets unmasked, and it's Chad Gable. I think that could be very fun, but a lot of those matches could easily be thrown on a Raw or SmackDown and make a ton of sense. So I do think overall it would stack up pretty well as a WrestleMania card. It's tough to beat WrestleMania 40 just with, you had 2 matches with Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. You had The Rock thrown in there. That's tough to beat across 2 nights. You had a great match with Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. You had some fun celebrity appearances like, Jason Kelsey in Philly. I think the Io Sky and Bayley match was great. I think they really put a lot together for WrestleMania 40. I think they're trying to ramp up towards that for WrestleMania 41. It'll be kind of a time will tell situation, but I think if done well, if they wrap up all these stories, put a nice bow on it, do the heel John Cena run correctly, it could be a great WrestleMania 41 in Vegas. I don't know if it'll be the same as WrestleMania 40, and that's not just me being biased because I was there. I think it could be a very, very fun show overall if they go down the route that it seems they're going down. So I'm interested to hear what you guys think. Definitely let me know in the comments. Maybe my, filler match tier at the bottom there doesn't line up with what you're thinking. Definitely let me know if you disagree. If you did like the video, be sure to drop a like, give it that thumbs up. It means the world when you guys show your support like that. Comment down below, like I said, and subscribe so you don't miss anything going forward. We've got a ton leading up to WrestleMania season. Got some fun stuff for Mania weekend itself, so you won't want to miss that. Thank you all for watching, and I will talk to you guys again soon.